As I am sure many of you will be happy to learn, Beta-Cook has outlived his usefulness in this completely normal situation which I have in no way forced upon two innocent people. Ha 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 ha, I am teasing you. But not about the part where Beta-Cook 1 died. Last night I abducted a-list actor Matthew McConaughey at gunpoint, and he will now be assuming the mantle of Beta-Cook. I electrocuted his genitalia until he was at tears, and finally agreed to read my chat log. LOL. What a total beta. It is also interesting to note that this was recorded during one of adult girl's increasingly rare moments of lucidity. I have Beyonce commenting on my channel, and McConaughey in my basement. I don't see anyone laughing now. Ha! No one's laughing at all. There may never be laughter again.
Shared interest plus power equals interests. What the fuck does that mean?
It's like just some fucking life coaching gibberish.
Wes is typing this up as fast as he can.
It's just word salad. It's like positive reinforcement word salad.
But that's how Jorrun thinks.
That's exactly. It makes sense to Jorrun.
It'll make sense to Jorrun.
Oh yeah, that's pretty wise, Wes.
Yeah,
I like that.
And maybe there's a little bit of wordplay with, you know, shared interests and then plus power equals interests in the romantic form.
Ah.
Yeah. You'll be surprised how many women will be knocking at your day. Can you imagine what it's like for Clobber? Oh
Clobber is just...
He's gonna dig in there. He's trying to get Jorrun a little mad there, I think.
Can you imagine what it's like for Clobber? I bet it's like hell for Clobber. It's just nothing but...
He has to, like, knock these ladies away with sticks. He doesn't want to do this. He's a nice guy.
I bet he's afraid to even open his inbox, because as soon as he does, all it is just the most lewd photographs that you can imagine. But Beyonce will find you once your channel is large enough.
And then,
man, you're pushing it, Wes. You really pushed it with that line, but he'd already been talking to you for a little under a month at this point that Wes drops the Beyonce will find you line on Jorrun, and Jorrun does not seem too fazed by that. It seems to be words of encouragement, if anything.
Jorrun has a really tasteful opening sentence here. I'm sure you won't.
Only Latino that I am.
You're on the wrong one. That was earlier in the chat log.
I'm everywhere.
Okay, alright. Beyonce will find you once your channel is large enough.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Sorry, I just got so turned on that the blood left my brain. What? Okay, hold on. What turned him on about what Wes just said? Was it that Beyonce will find his channel, or
maybe
what?
There's a screenshot shared of boobies again.
Or was it? Yeah. Is this a? This isn't the start of. No, this is part of this whole conversation. That was 10:43. Wes's message was at 10:38. Maybe there was a picture of boobs that got posted in between those two screenshots.
Yeah.
We don't know. None of our business. It's not in what was sent to us. So,
yeah.
You know, whatever. But it's just a funny line from Jorrun here.
This isn't a thing you need to say in a conversation with another man. Like, that's disgusting. Like, oh, hey, man, I just got chopped up so bad I can't think anymore. Such a vigorous erection that it drives all the blood from your brain. He loves those kind of quotes, though. You know, like, men have two heads and only enough blood in their body to operate one at a time.
He lives by quotes like that.
But yeah, that comment is neither here nor there in this kind of conversation, and this is something you would say to a romantic interest, say mac and cheese while you're sexting.
I know what it's like for you. You showed me hot pics. I assume Klobbs could bathe in pussy every day if he wished to. Two things. Thing one, if he wished. That's genie talk. That's some fucking genie speak right there.
He's just slipping it in there. It's like he's
doing it unconsciously, I think.
Oh God, he's having a sexual conversation with Wes. It's like
that line. Okay, so I just want to remind everyone as we continue on with this chat log. Jorrun, at the time of this recording and at the time of this conversation that we're reading here, this exchange, Jorrun is 48 years of age. He acts like a really thirsty 19-year-old boy. Like, you showed me hot pics! Exclamation point. It's some loser shit is what I'm saying, basically. Aha! Ha ha ha! So girls even thought you were cute. I wanted the BBC. And I'm not sure what Wes's response is, because now we're gonna jump down to, I'm not sure what the date is on this next one, but Jorrun gets creepy here, and okay, I have to ask, I'm so curious, who is blank?
What do you mean, who is blank? Where did you get that name?
Alright, so what Wes is referring to, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but Jorrun had apparently been going through the names of those who had donated to him in his stream, which your PayPal information will show your real name unless you have it listed under a business account. So what Jorrun had been doing was essentially trying to find people's real names and information about them. For completely inexplicable reasons, he comes to Wes asking about this individual in his personal life. Like, who is this person? How is that any of Jorrun's business at all? Like, how does he have the nerve to even bring that up in conversation? What's going on in your opinion here?
I think it's related in general to his obsession with names in general. Remember that stand-up, that terrible stand-up where he talks about finding out the real names of the burlesque dancers and how interesting he thought it was, but then didn't elaborate on it, which I assume has something to do with his elitism.
He has a strange thing about people's real names, and perhaps it does have something to do with his elitism. It could be, and I wouldn't put this past him, it could be some sort of like power trip type of deal. He's definitely, from what I've heard and seen in screenshots and streams, etc., he gets way too familiar with people. And, you know, you shouldn't be addressing people by certain names if you ain't be knowing them like that.
And if they made it explicitly clear that they were going by an online moniker or screen name in lieu of using any personal identification, he has no regard for that.
None whatsoever. Like, he's dropping people's names during streams. Your donations to me all came up as blank.
Another note I would like to make about Jorrun's seeming obsession with naming goes back to historical biology and the naming of things to identify it. There's a philosophy involved where I can't remember exactly where it came from, but the essential idea is that to name is to own. It's an idea of ownership, because once you name it, you claim some sort of power over it. And I think that's how Jorrun equates that. He finds that having somebody's real name gives him some sort of power to speak to them in a way where he is either at equal footing when he isn't yet in that interpersonal relationship, or he is above them.
Yeah. Your donations to me all came up as blank.
I'm going to be honest. It makes me uncomfortable that you would ask me a question like that and let me know that you could now have my name. It's creepy, dude.
It's seriously creepy.
I value my privacy, and it makes me not want to donate knowing what kind of information could be used to dox me or my family.
And another thing, it's like everyone is already familiar with what Wes has went through with the Vince bullshit. This would be the last thing you would want to approach someone who has dealt with being doxxed in the past. Even if he did see that name, why would you ask? Why would you even ask?
I wonder if Jorrun was at this particular point of their contact feeling a little insecure and felt like he needed to assert some sort of control or dominance by implying that he knows Wes's name or somebody involved.
Somebody close to him.
Somebody close to him.
That thought had run across my mind as well. That it was perhaps an extremely passive way to be like, oh, look at what I have. And maybe it is. Jorrun is just so clueless that he's hard to read in that way, but we've seen a lot of people who play dumb to get away with bullshit. Maybe that's the reason that he would roleplay as D-Mac.
Oh my God.
There's
That's
a thread.
interesting.
Yeah, there's a thread between those two.
I like where you're going with that. And Jorrun is a particularly passive-aggressive person for somebody who claims to be so alpha. He does not do well with outright confrontation, nor does he do outright confrontation himself either. He always has to make little side comments or, like you say, pretend to be innocent or stupid about something.
Oh, I was just curious.
Yeah, it's a shit weasel thing to do.
Fuck, I apologize, but I wanted to let you know that name appeared on... He was doing you a favor, Wes. That's what's going on here. This was a fucking misunderstanding. I'm sorry. Appeared on Streamlabs in case it was a mistake and you wanted to change it.
I think it goes without saying in this community, if people aren't using each other's real names on a regular basis...
Don't fucking use it.
Yeah, it's an unspoken rule. It is a nonverbal social cue.
And it's something that shouldn't even need to be said. Especially not for someone... But is Jorrun a boomer? Can we consider Jorrun a boomer?
Maybe. He might be a little young for a boomer, but...
He's got some boomerish tendencies, and I know that he's a bit more hippie-ish than what people generally consider to be a boomer. There, you know, it's more of a conservative term, but...
Yeah.
Because he does things that are so... Go ahead.
So clueless or...
Yeah.
So... Like, it's so inattentive to how... Like, it's a inattentiveness to how social structures work around them, that once you notice a behavior pattern in your peers, you usually want to try to mimic it. And if you don't understand it, maybe you might ask the question, hey, does everybody know about these names here and we just don't talk about them? Because if that's it, that's all I wanted to know.
You know,
that's how you could play it off as being innocent. Sorry.
No, it's as though Jorrun isn't even aware that things such as etiquette exist. It's like he's completely blind to shit like that. But that's basically what you've said already.
Yeah.
So. But Wes immediately calls him on his bullshit because Jorrun is trying to say that the donations were coming up on Streamlabs like that, and I don't know this myself, but I'm sure that, you know, Wes isn't pulling this out of his ass, but go ahead and read his line for him.
Streamlabs doesn't show you that info. It would only come from PayPal records as far as I know. It's really a bad idea to ask anyone about their identity or donation information, but it's an especially bad idea to ask someone you know who has been doxxed 10 plus times over the past year by one YouTuber and had another YouTuber try to put me in jail. Even if Streamlabs or PayPal gives you that kind of information, you should never ask anyone about it.
Just keep it to your fucking self, man.
I can't think of anything that could be more damaging to your YouTube future short of actual doxing. As far as you know, that's my female alter, cousin, or dead daughter. But I don't see what you could possibly gain out of finding out who that is, or who it is. I know it seems like I am taking this too seriously, but if you had the first year on YouTube I did, you would understand why that is not cool.
These people have been nice enough to financially support something that you're doing. You know, we won't even get into its actual worth as far as what you were producing. It's more that they were even being supportive in the first place. And you use that as some whatever he's doing here, be it a manipulation tactic, a form of an extremely passive-aggressive sort of threat, if it's just Jorrun being overly familiar, if he believes that perhaps at this point in their conversation they're so close that he can just know anything he wants about Wes.
I'm not sure if there's something slightly out of order, but I know parts of the chat are not here.
Yeah.
So it kind of jumps to something else. Don't know if this is a different day or if it's just later in the evening and they've been chatting for a few hours back.
Well, let's look at the times real quick.
Well, on the previous one, it's like 9:55 p.m. and then it jumps to...
So this is at least the next day.
At the very least, the next day, maybe having chatted for a few hours in between, on and off.
Sure. Aha! Oh man, he even types it the way that he says it. Look at that.
I was thinking the same thing.
Aha! She does. I make the first contact on her, sensei.
What the hell are this?
He meant to say shall I make the first contact on her, sensei. There's gonna be a lot of Jorrun going to Wes for advice and approval. Like, I don't even think he was gonna do the interview unless Wes told him it was okay. I seem to believe someone mentioning how when he contacted Many Syllables, he was like, oh, I got the go-ahead to do the interview, as though Wes was his manager or his PR agent.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I love that he says sensei. You know, it's just a little bit off from saying senpai instead of a...
Yeah, it should have been senpai.
Senpai. Notice me, senpai. She already made first contact to me. I say you follow up and show initiative. Vince was doxing me last month using Vince Psychotra account on Twitter. He does shit like that, so it looks like it's not him.
That's discreet.
It sounds like you have it under control, though, so that's good. Your mods are on top of it.
Oh man, Jorrun had mods?
Wow.
When do we get mods? How many subscribers do you need before you get mods? I guess that's the stream thing, though. That's when you get your wrench. You know, you can, like, kick people out of the stream for being shitheads. You know what?
You get your stream bouncers.
yeah. It's mods or stream bouncers, basically. I hate that fat fuck. Although, if it isn't a kid who lives with his parents and has never experienced the touch of a woman before and is instead a middle-aged nothing. That's hilarious. That really is, Jorrun.
Oh my god, it sounds like he's describing himself to a T. What a weird... This is like some Chris Chan like description too. The touch of a woman. I have never known the warmth of a flower of a woman.
That's hilarious. And at least I'm in good company. Shit, practically a badge of honor. Jorrun, you know outright that was a badge of honor for you, and you thought that you had made a name for yourself because for some weird reason you suspected Vince was going after you or your channel. I don't know who Mac and Cheese is. I don't want to know who Mac and Cheese is. I also don't know who was trolling Jorrun beforehand, if that was Mac and Cheese or a completely different party. Jorrun is just the type of person that attracts trolls. Plain and simple.
You know, he's just thinking about how he's got his first hater and now he's gonna stack that cheddar.
Yeah, it's true. Listen to Fitty, Jorrun. You'll learn how to do this shit proper. Yeah,
Okay.
Practically a badge of honor, Jorrun says.
Let me know how things work out with that chick. I've been ignoring the last few that messaged me, but now I'm inspired. Haha, looks like we're about to have a competition.
Woo! That's exciting. Who won this competition, I wonder?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
This is the Jorrun encouragement. It's very gentle nudging, you know, as a mother cow does to her baby calf to get him on his feet.
I wonder if Wes had to reel it back in after the Beyonce finding his channel remark. Okay, the next line.
He can't. It doesn't matter how he says those things because Jorrun is so like casually racist that he just thinks it's normal that anybody who's black makes those types of expressions constantly, which is why he kept on doing it.
What kind of expression?
Well, where he's talking about where he randomly starts bringing up what was it, Jay-Z.
All
Yeah.
black people randomly interject rap, R&B, and other black artists in their casual conversation.
Nobody hates him more than him? Question mark.
Yeah, that doesn't seem. I don't think that's a actual response to
No,
anything
where
Wes
does
just
that
said.
come from? Here, you read that though.
Well, again, this conversation is a little choppy, but the timestamps on this look pretty accurate for how the flow of the conversation is going. Regardless, nobody hates him more than him? That's deep, brah, winky face. Glad I inspired you. The guy who tags the hottest girls win. Holy shit, we called it. I hadn't read this part. Or is that just because you knew?
Well, I did read through. I didn't specifically remember this part, but obviously Jorrun was tagging Mac and Cheese, you know?
I just don't know if Wes put that idea in his head to then get Mac and Cheese the ability to ask Jorrun the same in return. Wes could have implanted that idea thinking a few steps ahead, because if he gets Mac and Cheese to prove herself by writing something on a part of her body, Mac and Cheese, which Wes is at least in communication with during this point, can therefore ask Jorrun to write on parts of his body, which make for a great addition to the collection that they've made.
And I feel like if it were something that was suggested in, you know, the Jorrun-centric universe of elite broism,
Alpha broism.
I feel like we would have seen evidence of that comment earlier in the chat, and not below otherwise. But Jorrun has a habit also of like lacking a segue for something he specifically wants to talk about. He just throws it in there as if it was part of the conversation, but it wasn't.
Okay, I didn't even finish that part.
Oh, sorry.
The
go.
guy who tags the hottest girl wins. LOL. I do great online, but you have the much bigger profile. So we'll see who wins. Jorrun does great online. I wonder where he gets that from. Just the fact that women don't tell him to fuck off and die directly. They just sort of uncomfortably distance themselves from him, or is there this hidden base of female Jorrun fans that we're unaware of and that will soon be set upon us by Jorrun himself?
If Jorrun had the money, he'd be one of those guys that has a false equivalency with his dick, and he would be overcompensating madly. And right now, because he doesn't have money and he's fucking broke as shit, he's not buying cars to make his dick look bigger. He's trying to get a bigger YouTube profile.
He's not even trying to get a fucking mirror on his wall. I can't think of a good line there because he can't think of something nice for his house other than like the bare necessities. It's like a serial killer's wasteland in there.
Yeah, it's so artless. I would have expected a little more creativity.
From someone who claims to be a sensitive artist, his house looked like
he just moved into it.
It looked like he just moved into it, or it was like a robot lived there. A robot that never sleeps. It just at night, when everyone else sleeps, it just sits in the corner and powers off until morning, and that's just a robot's house.
Maybe Jorrun lives inside of a genie bottle.
Maybe Jorrun lives in one of those where they test atomic bombs and they set up the fake houses. Okay, we should keep going with the chat here.
Okay. Here, let's see. Sounds like a plan. And you do great online? What does that mean?
What does that mean? Thank you, Wes.
Are you the Mac? I don't know what Mac means.
I think I know.
Like the Mac Daddy?
Oh, that's weird. I hadn't seen that line when I made the Jorrun channel introduction and used Return of the Mac. Although it's not a huge stretch because Mac Daddy, that's a term that pretty common term. It's a bit antiquated at this point, but I understand
90s.
Yeah, I understand it.
I get it. I was like, it was unexpected for me though, but this is probably more akin to Jorrun's language because where he was more socially relevant was probably the 90s.
Also, I think it's a play on mac and cheese. I think Jorrun's already told him what the name of the profile is and sent it to Wes and had Wes vet it. So that's probably a play on mac and cheese there. Just a guess. Yes, I am, LOL. The old Latin charm. I don't just play a character online. That's terrifying.
That's terrifying. That is terrifying. The old Latin charm, his unspecified amount of Portuguese ancestry.
Well, Clobber left a comment, and apparently his mother is Portuguese, or lived in Portugal and moved to America, so that I don't think he is necessarily...
So she could have come from some other part of Europe or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't know specifically, and it doesn't really matter. I'm only curious just in sort of a passing way, because he does talk about race so much.
He talks about Latin specifically. He doesn't say Portuguese ever, from what I've seen so far of the chat logs and how he's described himself in his videos. I never hear the word Portuguese. It's always Latin or Latino, and it's vague enough and it's romantic enough for him to sink his claws into and be like, this is me, this is how I self-identify, I'm insecure with who I am as a person, so I have to find a label.
The statement about Jorrun not playing a character online is actually pretty heavy. I feel like I should have more to say on that, but a lot of this stuff isn't having quite the necessary time to sink in. I might go ahead and read forward a little bit more in the chat tonight. We do these recordings in sessions. I don't know how interesting that is to people listening. Yeah.
First, I'll say, it is also really weird for somebody who likes to talk about being Latin so much. He never talks about this in his upbringing or his family life or something where he has an anecdote. It's exclusive to him being a romantic flirt and a lover, never anything else.
It's Don Juan.
There's no love, there's no warmth, there's no personality to it. It's just like, oh, I'm a Latin lover. This implies that I'm going to have a big dick, but
yeah,
no,
we've seen
small dick and bad credit, apparently.
Yeah.
Anyway, but what you're thinking of is you're talking about the idea of how he's like, I don't just play a character online, and there's something weird about how authentic that is, because
it's true.
He's the same person through and through in everything that he does. There's nothing about his alter egos in his fictional writing and how he presents himself in his skits that's actually different from who he is in real life.
Nor is it different from the art that he does in real life. I'm sure by the time this gets posted, we'll have published the Jorrun stand-up comedy. I think I'll title it The Worst Story Ever Told. But it's Jorrun doing stand-up in front of people, and it is the most awkward, painful, unintentionally offensive, but simultaneously hilarious thing I've ever heard. It is both painful and gut-wrenchingly funny.
Somebody had once said in regards to Jorrun's comedy roast is that it's so cringeworthy that it's like sucking on a lemon the entire time.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That is nothing compared to this story he tells in his stand-up.
It's brutal.
There's nothing funny about it. It's shockingly dismissive and
it's downright offensive.
At the least, and it's downright offensive at its
This is
worst.
coming from someone who never uses that word. His story is downright offensive, and there's people there. I can't get over the fact that there is a group of at least 10 people, it sounds like, in the audience, and just thinking about them sort of
trying to react to this and not knowing what to do,
and kind of being stuck there, because at that type of thing, you don't necessarily want to get up and leave, because there's only 10 people there. Everyone can see that you're the person who gets up and leaves, unless you're brazen enough to do so.
And Jorrun's the kind of psycho that will immediately point out that person who's trying to get up, and he would try to heckle the person trying to escape to go to the bathroom or
oh my God.
whatever, get another
God.
drink, or he takes that as a personal affront, like, hey, God. You, what are you doing there in the striped shirt?
Again, you guys will have heard it by the time we're talking about it.
It will have made the rounds, I'm sure.
I hope.
I know some of you have probably heard it already.
Perhaps.
Yes, that's how the Breets got around.
The Breets.
The relaxing Breets.
Oh, so relaxing. They have a calming effect, those Breets. All right, is it my turn?
I think, here, let's see.
Oh, no, we go to the
next one.
Aha. Take sip of water. Take sip of water. Take sip of water. And so, we begin the most epic Alpha Bro competition of all time. 2 bitch tagging badasses going cross-country to see how many women will make fan signs of their body. Who will come out on top? Can your boy Jorrun take him the W? Or will the win go to Wes Moast? Will Jorrun be doing a collaborative LP with Jay-Z? Will their combined efforts and courtship win the ski lodge back from the local rich kids? All these questions and more will be answered in the next episode. Stay tuned. And remember, friends, stay tiny and cute. Breeds. Ha! I just wanted to see how that would sound in my robot voice. Night night.